Hi everybody, I wanted to show you real quickly how I did the paper, how I put together that paper that I did my list on that was on my Instagram post a couple of days ago. Someone had said something about, oh, I really love those. I've never worked with inks before, spray inks before. So I decided to show you really quickly how I did it. So let's get started. I picked these three colors to do the spray inking, and then we're going to use these stamps to create a little to-do list page for the day, or for next week. I have lots of colors. They come in all kinds of colors, and this is by far not all of the colors. There are tons of colors. This is just a few of my favorites. So let's get started. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is see this mat that we're on. This is a craft mat. You can buy it at Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. You can get it online on Amazon. It's called a Ranger craft mat. I think it's about 15 bucks. You can get bigger ones that are a little bit more expensive. These mats are amazing because they're waterproof. So you could spray onto this. You can see some of the ink from the last time. This would come off I don't even know how old this is, but this will come off if I used a baby wipe. It would come right off because this stuff is water reactive. So if you put water on it, it would come right up. So it's nice to use it. You can just take a paper towel and soak up all of what's left, all of the overspray, because you will have overspray when working with spray inks. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to do when picking your colors is to make sure that they don't create mud. So you want colors that complement each other, but like, okay, so if you put orange with green, if you don't let it dry in between, you're gonna get brown. So you just have to know your color wheel a little bit and go from there. This one is highly pigmented. This is the After Midnight, and it seems to me that this brand, the purple colors, are very, very, very strong, and so a little goes a long way. So we're gonna start with the darkest color only because it takes the longest to dry, and it also will spread everything out, so the pink will go on the top. So we'll do it from here. So I'm gonna turn the page to the side, and since I'm spraying, I don't want to spray directly down because of the spatter it makes. Like, so you get used to it. Like, I'm explaining it wrong. So like if I was to go straight down from the top, you're gonna get a big spray. If you go to the side, you get more of the ink at the bottom, which is what I was looking for. So this is perfect. It seems really messy and really abstract, but that's the fun part. So now we're gonna go with the pink and try not to blend the puddles too much. We want the spatter to blend. This one's on the empty side. You always kind of have to remember where you're pointing it. There's what we wanted. Okay. And now along the bottom, see this puddle right here? I don't want to keep moving it into that puddle. So I'm gonna take my paper towel and clean it up. This might be a little messy for some of you, but it's a lot of fun. And if you're not wanting to do it in your planner, I suggest practicing on the extra filler papers and making little half sheets, or this one is almost empty, so I'm having a hard time getting it out. Ah, there we go. Well, looks like I need a refill of this one. It's such a pretty color too. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take it out of the bottle and we're just gonna drop some on. Because I really want this color. So if I turn the page this way, come on. There we go. So that gives me a little bit of that color. Now what we can do, since this is just paper, this is Happy Planner filler paper, it's not very, it's not going to absorb the paint and the ink like watercolor paper would. It's just going to sit on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to help it along and spread it out. All right, I love how this turned out. So pretty. All right, so now we're gonna clean up our space just a little bit. Okay. Oops. Now we're set to stamp. You might want to give this a couple of seconds to dry, or if you are into art and you have a lot of tools, like if I was just doing this for myself and not on a video, I would get my heat dryer and kind of blast it just a little bit with the craft heat dryer, and it would dry up the ink so that I could add more to it without damaging the paper. So that's how that looks. I'm really happy with this down here. Very nice. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to dry a second, we can talk about stamps. So these are some Dylusion stamps, same brand as the inks, Dylusions. It's one of my favorite mixed media art brands, but you can use any stamp you want. This is the stamping line from their planner. It's called the Diary line. This is their stamps, but you could also use any stamps you want. I have some Happy Planner ones right here too. So these are some Happy Planner ones that you could use on this page as well. All right, so let's plan it out. So this is how we're gonna do it. I want this to be a to-do list. So we're going to plan this out. Take some of the stamps out. Okay, so I want it to say to do. So we're gonna put that up at the top. And then, I really wanna use this stamp. Oops. These are kind of on the new side, so they have a hard time coming off of the paper. So let's see, where do I want to put this? I think we're gonna put the functional stickers in the white space so that we can see the writing in them. And then the decorative stamps in the color. Let's see. I've got let's do this. Let's use the days of the week next to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is not really gonna work. So let's just do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's the Tuesday. And the trick to laying these things out is that if you had a big enough block, you could, like I have a big, when you're using these kinds of stamps, you also need a block to put the stamp on. So like this, a clear plastic stamp block. So you can stick the stamp on and then stamp it down. So if you lay your stamps out like this and you have a block big enough, you can put it all on one block, which I have a block that's giant. So we're gonna use this one. So this is how I kind of want to set that up, I think. And then we'll do some decorations on this side. Maybe I need one more box. We'll see. I might just stamp this and then go back and stamp more if I need to. So since these are all laid down correctly, I'm just gonna put this on top and pick up the stamps. And now we're gonna ink this side and stamp it down. So here's my ink. I use Archival when I'm playing with anything that has water. So like anytime I'm using spray inks or paint pens or aqua brush or any of those things that you've seen me use in the past, I like to use Archival ink. It's waterproof, permanent. They have other colors. I prefer the black. I like the way the black looks on these bright colored inks. But they have colored ink. Many, many, many colors too. So we want to make sure that this is all, oops. Working with this craft mat, sometimes you can't pick things up if you have nails. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're stamping that up. And now we're going to line it up the way we want it. And stamp it down. I'm gonna push down really hard on the image. Sorry, the camera's attached to the board that I'm on. And so if I move the board too much, the camera shakes a little. So that's how that looks. Now we're gonna take these off and set them aside. And I want to add a few more boxes. I think I'm gonna add, let's try this one. Oops. Let's try these boxes. I think they're kind of interesting. Maybe I'll do it like that. Oops. It doesn't want to come apart. Once these get used a few times, they won't be so sticky. A little bit of soap and water and they get sticky again. So let's do it this way on here, but we're gonna put it that way. What do I want to call this? I want to call this important. And if I was, if I really liked my handwriting, I might handwrite these things. These headers, like the to-do, I could have hand wrote it. Or this important down here that I'm gonna do. And sometimes I do, but for the purpose of this, and I'm assuming that we're beginner stampers, it seems like that's what I'm getting a lot of feedback when I post things. Oh, see what I did? Quick thing. I got ink inside the square, and I don't want that because then my square will be black on the paper. So I'm gonna take my paper towel, find a white spot, and try to get out that ink from the center. Did it again right here. See how it came off? Okay. So like I was saying, it seems like I'm getting a lot of, wow, stamps are cool. I didn't know, I've never used stamps before. So I'm going to show you guys how I would do things if I had never stamped before. I did it again. Ugh. Okay. I think this one is just shallow. Sometimes stamps, if they're not cut deep, you'll always get that space. So I'm gonna try to stamp the edges without stamping the middle to get the design without getting the inside. There we go. That looks good. So let's decide where we want to put it. And even if you don't get the word perfect, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of ink on this side, we will fix it with a micron pen at the very end. So let's stamp that down. And lift it up. See, that looks great. I love the way that looks. All right. Well, let's do our fun designs, and then we can call it a day, and I'll show you how to color these in and clean it up and make it look pretty. Okay. So let's see, I have some flowers and I have some, that might be too big. Okay, I really want to use it though. Or, let's see. I have these also, border stamps. And I really like this. So let's try that. And stamps come in different sizes. Like, let me show you really fast. We just looked at this stamp, which is this design. This, oops, it's too dark for you. This mushroomy design right here. But I also have that in a smaller one. So, like, there's a smaller one. So you just have to find what you like. And I really like this, like these arrows, and it's like a Alice in Wonderland, mushroomy, inspired fantasy kind of stamps. But you know, whatever designs are yours, you could do butterflies, you could do flowers, whatever you wanted to do. That's what I love about stamps. Okay, so I really want to put this along the bottom right here. So I'm just going to do it. That's how it looks. And then I could do it again along the bottom. So I'm going to ink just this little space, this little third of the stamp or so. So I only put ink on the small part. That's going to fit right here. And if I go off the page, that's what this craft mat is for. It's going to pick up anything that I left behind and it won't damage anything. So you can see how like there's a little bit of the stamp showing up right here. I can just wipe that away. So that's how that looks, and it's going to look even better when it's completely dry. So the ink is dry. The stamp pad ink is dry. This part, not so much. So we're going to have to wait a few minutes to get it really completed. But in the meantime, I think I want to put something else right here. Let's find... Oops. Let's move this, take this off. And how about some mushrooms? I can put some mushrooms. And another cool thing about stamps is that you only see the part of the image that you put ink on. So I want the stamp, I want the mushrooms, but I don't know that I want all the stems that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Let me get the ink off of this. It is a little messy, like you will get spray, like my hands are covered in ink now. So I'm going to put the stamp on the acrylic block only where I want, only how much I want shown. And I'm only gonna put ink on this top half. Now, if you're working with a craft mat and you don't mind you don't mind cleaning it up afterwards, you could stamp the whole thing and just place it correctly. But what I want to do is I want it behind this row. So I'm going to only ink up the part that I want to show, and then I can set this where I want it. If you can hear that, it's my dog snoring. She's 15 and she's getting a little old. So there's my mushrooms. You can't really see them on the dark page, but we're gonna fix that with pens at the end. I do want to add one more thing over here. It seems like there's ink here and it's pretty and we want to do something with it. So let's see, what can we do? We can put this arrow, it's one of my favorite arrows, at the top. We can put that up here. She's really snoring, it's kind of funny. And then we can do, I think we'll just do this again. We can put this right here. Maybe we'll just do this. What do we think of that? I think that's perfect. Let's do that. So let's get my acrylic block and we're gonna lay this on along the side of the page. We picked it up where we wanted it. Now we're gonna ink it up. Ugh. There we go. Lay this flat. That's where we want it. Oops. looks nice. I like that. Another thing we can do just in the corner there, you can put another word. Let's see what I've got. Oh, I think it's too small for a word, so let's do let's just continue it. Let's put the same stamp we were working with right there. And I'm going to stamp this spot. So let's ink up just this little bit. And then we can lay it to match and lay it down. That actually looks really, really nice. And I love the way that looks just on the plain white too. Okay, so I think we're done, except for I want to add, this just seems lonely. If we're gonna do the whole week, we might as well do another one of these. Come on. Okay. So I'm gonna put this down here. Are we gonna flip it? Yeah, let's flip it. So we get the design around the edges. So we're gonna put that here, like that. Yes. I'm gonna ink it up. And you know, you can always turn the paper to make it comfortable for you. I'm gonna push it a little further out so I can add the rest of the days of the week. Set that down. This is going to be really cool in my planner. All right, that's my dogs. I have 3 dogs, and mornings are their time to bark at the neighbor dogs. So, let's do, hush doggo. Where did the T go? All right, so I've got an S, the T for Thursday. We need the Friday, so Thursday, Friday. Where's the F for Friday? Oh, you know what? That is the F. Let's turn it this way. There's the T. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we'll have to go back, since I only have one S, I'll have to go back and do another S. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Maybe I don't want to do anything on Sunday. I think Sunday is going to be my rest day. So that's how that's going to look. That looks pretty good. Give me one quick second. I'm gonna put the dogs out so they don't keep interrupting us. So that's how that looks. I think I'm done with stamps for the most part. And then I will handwrite the date up here to keep this page in my planner. So that's that. Now, see how this is kind of a lot, and you cannot, this image is lost in the paint. So the ink. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a micron pen. This is my favorite pen, so it's kind of worn off. It's a micron pen, and it's a 08. And this is my favorite white pen. It's a Uniball Signo Broad white pen. So what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna do some of this off camera, so you're gonna see the finished product in my Instagram later today. So what we're going to do is we're going to outline the image in this black pen. It'll make it pop, and you'll be able to see it better on the ink. Now, if you choose to use lighter inks, then you won't have this problem of the image not showing up. I could have stamped it in a different color. I could have stamped it in silver or a white pigment ink. I could have done that, and that would have been really cool, like an opposite effect, the white image on the dark background. Sometimes looks really cool if that's what you're into. But most of you are beginners and do not have all of the specialty white. A really good white pigment ink is hard to find. So we're just going to do it this way, and it's still a little lost, but we'll brighten it up with the white pen once we get the outline in black. It's already starting to look a little bit more noticeable. But once I start doing the white, you'll really be able to see it. Sometimes with these white pens, you kind of get a crust on the tip and you have to take the crust off in order to get the pen started. And I also like to write a little on scratch paper before I get started in my drawing. So, okay, so now we're set up, and we're just gonna do, I outline the inside of the black line of whatever the image is with white, so you can see it without distraction. And I'm gonna fill in the little spots on the mushroom with the white pen, at least on this mushroom. So I'm going to take it all the way down. These are the little lines underneath the cap. And here's the stem. There's another little mushroom down here. So that's how it's gonna look. So I can finish this off. I think we're just gonna continue with the white on this one. So you get the idea of how this is gonna look. So there's our mushrooms. Now I could take this white pen and go over all of our stamp designs, and I might do that at some point, but I'm a doodler. I like to add things throughout the week. So I just wanted to show you, for the sake of the video, how it's gonna look. And as I fill this in with plans and as I use this page throughout next week, I will probably go and doodle. So there'll be more fill-ins and like coloring, outlining. Like I could do, let's see which one's calling to me. Let's do one with the pink. So let's do this little square right here. So these squares I could color in white. And make the spray, the pink spray in the background, take a real back seat. It makes it pop more. So you can see already that it's making the image pull forward a little bit more. Can you see that? And like this is kind of lost in the spray, so if I take it out a little more, let's get my black pen. So stamps always give us an image to go by, but it doesn't have to be. You can always go in and add something with a black pen or a white pen or a colored paint pen. You can always go back and fix any images that aren't perfect, or at least to your liking. So I'll finish this one with white. And sometimes if you're going over a dark color like this purple color, I might have to do 2 or 3 passes to get the white to really cover, because we're working with a water-based dye, which is the spray ink, and a white pigment, which, since the pigment goes on wet, it's going to react with the water-based dye and make the color run. So this white might be pink or slightly purple tinged. It might pick up the color of what you're, see how like it's drying, so it's kind of turning pink. So if I do a couple more passes, it will stay white. And you just have to find the right tool that works for you. Some people swear by Sharpie paint pens, which I have them also. I just don't, I find myself picking up this one first, like all the time. So that's how that looks. We could always go over these, the stamped writing lines. I like using micron pens because they don't, once you put the line down, it does not move. You can do anything to the background. I could spray more water on this page and these black micron lines will not bleed or move. So that looks really nice. I could go in here and do white polka dots on this one. I like white. Let's do the white polka dots on all of them and leave the black stripes. And we're just filling them in. We're not actually drawing the circles. So you can still see the black around the edges. That looks really cool. So I'm going to continue doing that for just a second. So what are you guys thinking? Are you going to go out and buy a bunch of stamps? Stamps are always one of those things that go on clearance, or because they come out in seasons, just like clothes or planners come out. We have like the planner buying season. New releases come out seasonally, just like any other item that you're shopping for. I am going to have to go down here in the corner with my micron, my black pen, and pick up the black inks again to make them stand out more in this dark blue ink. But just to show you the finished product with the white, do this really quickly. It's really fun. It seems like a lot of work for one note page, but you know, at the end of the day, this is something that I created, and I don't know about all of you, but I keep all of my half sheets, all of my note pages. I mean, you can do some really amazing things with stickers, but you can get really creative with inks and stamps. So that's how that's gonna look. And once I go in with a black pen, it'll look really sharp. One thing I do want to do real quick is fix these things. This one did not ink down very well. So I'm going to fill in the gaps. Now you can do anything you want to this page. You could add stickers. You could add sparkles with like a sparkle pen, like a jelly roll or something that has glitter, a glitter pen. You could use a Wink of Stella glitter pen or a Winkaluna metallic paint pen to like put in some sparkles. The ink sprays come in all different colors. They come in glitter sprays, they come in mica sprays, shimmers, all kinds of different. So different things are available. So it's all kind of up to what you like. So let's go over this word over here. And another thing that is kind of cool with stamps is that the more you go over it, you know, your own penmanship shows through. So at the end of the day, it does kind of look handwritten, and people think you have amazing penmanship, and you don't. It's just a stamp. So that looks a lot better. Later on, off camera, I will go and fill all this in with pen, go over it with pen again, and then you can see the finished product when I add in my to-dos for next week. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed showing you how to use stamps and how to use spray inks. These are available at Joann's, Michael's, online at Amazon. You can order from Ranger Ink, the mother company that creates these. They have amazing stuff. They have washi tapes, they have paint pens, all kinds of stamps, all kinds of things that kind of go in the same, if you're into this kind of theme. It's really, really fun. It's semi-affordable. I mean, it's pretty inexpensive. 2 of these spray inks come together. They're $10 or $9.99. You can get them online by themselves for like $4.99 a piece. They're awesome. They're a lot of fun, and I hope you pick some up and stamp it up with me. So if you really enjoyed this, make sure to follow. Trying to get to 1,000 followers. I made a bet with my son, and I'm almost there. I need like 90 or so or more followers. So if you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the coming weeks, make sure to follow so you don't miss it. Thanks. See you guys later. Bye.